What's up, guys and gals? It's time for the latest piece of One Piece, chapter 1161. And apologies that this one is very much delayed, as were all the review videos over the weekend. I already explained in another video, but had a roof to do on the weekend, had my mom's birthday weekend, etc., etc., etc. So, either way, we're here now. Let's talk about chapter 1161, because it pretty much went the exact way that I thought it would, with some fun. I mean, I love the chapter. I thought the chapter was a lot of fun, but it does make me feel like my whole wish to have an entire, I don't know, 8 more weeks of, well, what do they say? Like, it's 8 more weeks of winter when the groundhog shows up. God Valley, I want 8 more weeks of God Valley. It's getting a little more unlikely given the pacing of this chapter. That being said, still really like the chapter, and most of what I thought happened did happen. So pretty cool. Plus, the color cover spread is really, really fun because we get to see a lot of like plushies and familiar faces, like ones that are very meaningful for different characters. So, for example, like Nami has, it looks like to me, the Witheria guy, Vivi, her sister and her mother Bellamere, that kind of idea, while Chopper is mistakenly in one of the claw machines, like Toy Story, in one of the claw machines. Brook is the claw, trying to get him out, and Chopper is mistaken for a plushie. Usopp's trying his best. Frankie's trying to figure out how he's going to pay for this, and Robin's like, oh god, what's going on? Obviously, Luffy has like Shanks, Ace, Rayleigh, Dodon, Garp, that kind of idea. Makino there as well. Funnily enough, Zoro is chilling with a Mihawk one. That one makes sense, but is sleeping on a Shirahoshi one. And of course, Sanji is trying to rep all the girls there and stuff like that. But it is funny to me that Zoro doesn't have Momo's sister, chilling with him sort of idea, because she was very much into Zoro. I don't see her there. Did I miss that? I don't know. Anyways, Jinbei's asleep with it and stuff. Either way, really fun double page color spread. I just really enjoyed it. Now, the cover serial is very straightforward. It's very simple. Some of the Yamato, Momonosuke, Kinemon, they're all there praying to the Hall of Warriors, where the heroes sleep, as it were. And it's, Odin's got this big, the Japanese lantern style. We have the daimyos, the Odin himself, of course. Some of the ones like Izo, who lost his life. Pedro is there, honored here as well. Ashura Doji, of course. So that's a nice thing to see and stuff, in the cherry blossoms going forward. Now, into the chapter properly, we're trying to cover so many people over so many bases that I'm just going to say it's a shit show. It's a free-for-all, but it's a lot of fun. We got Celestial Dragons doing what Celestial Dragons do. I still want to continue. Sir, literally the most dangerous criminals in the world are here, and we're not strong enough to beat them. We need to get you out of here. And they won't listen. Typical stuff there. So Garp is like, where the hell is Roger? Because that's the only reason I'm here. If we want to get into another Garp debate, I already did that I defended Garp to the best of my abilities on Nia D. Hemming's Baroque Works podcast, so you can definitely go check that out. He invites me, from time to time, and that was definitely one where I did try to defend Garp. Garp is definitely a selfish character, because so much Garp slander going on that he defends slavery, Celestial Dragons, etc., etc., and once again, no, he's a selfish guy, but he does not stand for that stuff. But we follow Garp here. We follow Roger, who also, and Rox himself, who both, where I've been a Garp stan for a very long time, I get more heated up about the Garp slander. But both Rox and Roger are catching strays as well, it seems, this year. It's like, you just can't make One Piece fans happy. I am under the complete, not the delusion, the actual, looking with both eyes, and I just feel you can't make anybody happy, because people don't like Garp, they don't like the Rock's portrayal, they don't like Roger's portrayal, they're not liking anything. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here as a One Piece fan, loving it. So, You know, Roger's looking for Shockey. Rock's looking for his family. Garp is looking for Roger. And it's just all going to shit in the hand. But it's going like really, really bad. So now we see how Shamrock was like separated from Shanks and Dragon here because one of the Holy Knights, or whatever you call them, the Gods Knights. One of the Gods Knights, a Saint Mafe, Saint Marie something. Anyways, sort of similar to Killingham, but not really female. Anyways, a similar fruit by the looks of it, and able to fire a laser beam. Okay, it's like a hyper beam coming out like Dragonite or some shit. Attacks Dragon in the shoulder. Dragon seems very unprepared for this. He's not a powerful Marine at this point. He's very untrained. He's at this point he's only a teenager. He's sort of Kobe from well before the incident. Do you know what I mean? Like at best he's just able to run away sort of idea. So what he does here is when he's running with the two children, of course, she attacks him. He drops one of the babies. The other one is still underneath him, so she assumes that, oh, I got Garling's kid back. No big deal. Superiors, we're all good. You know, Garling's not going to have anybody's head. It's all good. Takes Shamrock and runs. Now, a big note here is that Shamrock immediately starts crying. Remember, they were both completely silent. Shamrock immediately starts bawling, being picked up by this crazy bitch. And Dragon is trying his best to save both children. Doesn't seem to be able to, sort of not even realizing that she's not noticing that Shanks is also there. Thankfully, as a result, she gets sliced in half. Obviously, this doesn't kill her, but the Yonko are just stomping around, making, just making as much noise as possible. In fact, it's Big Mom and Whitebeard arguing, being like, Whitebeard's like, finally, for the like, he just slice, cut down all the trees, cut down her. Didn't even notice there was a God's Knight. Once again, God's Knights, they're on the bottom tier. I'm sorry. 1v1, any of the Yonko beat them. 1v1, the Roger crew beats them. 1v1, Rock's crew beats them. They are not. Their best feat is having the Dragon Ball bullshit. I can regenerate crap from the end of Dragon Ball Z. And it's the only reason that they do not die. You know what I mean? They are not top tiers. And once again, proven here, because Whitebeard didn't even realize that he had just sliced down a God's Knight. He didn't even know she was there. That's how powerful these dudes are. So Dragon, skips up to the side. And because they're in the middle of an argument. It's like, for the last time, I was aiming at the enemy. I didn't try to hit you, Linlin. And Big Mom's just like, no. I know what you were up to, you liar. I could have died back there. You know how powerful you are, So this is Yonko clashing sort of idea. Now, Shiki shows up. Kaido shows up because Shiki's just like, were you, because apparently Whitebeard did a huge attack and Shiki believes, like Big Mom, that Whitebeard was aiming for them. So Shiki's like, Whitebeard, you bastard, I'm coming for you. And then Kaido shows up like, Lin, like, you promised me we'd work together to get me a devil fruit. What the hell? And stuff like that, right? So, anyway, they go toe-to-toe. They destroy the fodder Marines, all the fodder Marines, the fodder, not Celestial Dragons, but the fodder other pirate crews that showed up, everybody like that, right? So they're just knocking back heads. It's no big deal. Once again, in the confusion, Dragon realizes that Shanks, who is now knocked out, baby Shanks is still there, and is like, oh, I wasn't able to save both children, but I can still save this child, so I gotta go. And this is where Garp decides to show up, and he just goes, alright, this is a fishing expedition, and I think I reeled myself in a big one. Boom, he comes crashing down. Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, they're all peacing. They're all running away from the man, the myth, the legend, the hero of the Marines, Monkey D. the Fist, Garp. And I'm telling you, once again, Garp, I will never forgive the people that kept saying that he was the smoker to Roger. He's literally top tier. We have all the Yonko are running away from this man. Alright? All in their prime. They're running away. Now, the reason being is fair enough, and it's meant for more of a comedic moment initially, because it's just like, oh my god, like, this fight will take us way too long if we try to fight him here. Because, once again, the Rocks Pirates do not coordinate well together either. So, realistically, they'd more so get in each other's way. You'd think at 3v1, of course they could take down Garp, but they would get in each other's way so much that actually Garp probably stands a better chance beating these three when they're trying to fight him, rather than and obviously Garp doesn't care. He's like, all right, I'm taking on all three of you right now. Let's go. Garp's amazing. Now, Big Mom attempts to get rid of Garp so they can escape with a huge fire, flare blitz attack thing from Prometheus and stuff like that. Dragon notices that his father's here and stuff, and just super flame attack from Prime Big Mom, just boom, and then he shows up with one of the best lines. He says, "You call that fire, Lin Lin? That isn't even enough to cook me a prime rib steak." And we know that this man loves his steak medium rare. The right way to eat a goddamn steak. So this man doesn't like some charred, fucking burnt hockey puck piece of shit that, once again, if you don't like steak, just tell me you don't like steak. Don't fucking sit there and tell me you enjoy well done. You just don't like cow. I'm good with that. But you're never getting a steak off my grill above medium. Ever. And this fucking man just sat there and said, "We ain't even up to that 125. What the fuck are you doing?" That was shit. That was nothing. And she just goes, "Fuck." Like, immediately. Like, that's the only word after that reaction. She's just like, that was a named, so for the power scalers, a named Prime Skinny Big Mom attacking with her homies, and Garp went, yeah. Could he even light a cigarette with that shit? Like, is the barbecue even on? Like, what are you doing here? You call that fire? No. Let me take you to the kitchen. And he's going, so she's fucking pacing. She's like, I don't want any of that Garp smoke. So Garp stocks up. Let's go, baby. I love this. This is one of my favorite parts of the chapter. Now, of course, you guys know I'm a romantic, so my actual favorite part of the chapter is the end of the chapter. However, as I said before, sort of jumping ahead here, Dragon made off with Baby Shanks and is still trying to save them. The Saint whatever, the Killingham looking bitch that got cut in half. She regenerates and thinks that there's only one kid, so it's like, we got Shamrock, we're good to go. So, meanwhile, they realize they're being blitzed by multiple people, so they got to get the Celestial Dragons out of there, because Roger came in from one direction, Rocks Pirates came in from another. There's going to be a huge clash. It's just absolute chaos, and all the pirates, of course, are fighting over who's going to get to her first. So they would have made it probably more progress if they all aimed for the same destination, but, you're running along someone, hey, you, I'm going to stop you first, and stuff like that. So it just goes, it's a shit show. As I said at the beginning of the review, and I'm saying it once again, this is probably the third time I've said it, shit show. Absolute shit show. So, Summers shows up, proving himself to be one of the worst pieces of shit. We already knew this. I already thought he was a bitch. But because this regen bullshit is the whole, you're actually stronger than me. You could probably kick my ass, but I got regen, baby. I got hacks. I thought I got rid of this shit when I finally dropped JJK and all the 28 binding vows by the main villain that never seemed to have a consequence. I thought I got rid of that problem, but yeah, the regen shit is large and in charge when it comes to the God's Knights, thinking they're way up here. They have the ego of a celestial dragon with the regen to back it up, and I just call bullshit. Someone put them in their place. And is it not satisfying here, ladies and gentlemen? Because Summer shows up and decides, because Shocky ain't laying there. She's cuffed. You know, she got the hands behind her and stuff like that. But she's taking Marines out. She's kicking the shit out of them. So I'd be like, oh, my dear, did I do that and stuff like that? So she's not pulling anything. You know, she's not pulling her punches and stuff like that. It's like, wait, you all got taken out by one woman in handcuffs. It's like, well, I am Shocky. So piss off, you know, sort of idea. Now, this is where he slaps her straight across the face. Say, a woman who knows her own worth, you know, that's the most unattractive thing, is a woman who actually knows she's like, and it's just like, oh, we're hitting like a double bar here. Like, it's disrespectful, acknowledging that she knows, oh, you know you're a prize. Well, since you know you're a good woman, you know you're strong, you know you're top shit, that's actually unattractive. So know your like, I'm gonna teach you your real place, slap. And I'm just like, oh my god, this man like did that on double level. So as far as pissing off like everybody, you know, like yeah. So anyways, she doesn't take that shit lying down. She pretends to go down and boom, comes up with the kick. Actually gets him. And if it was anybody else, if it was not a God's Night, once again, not going to say that the regen came into effect here, but it sounded like the sound effect is a crack, like a shatter. So she just broke his arm, broke his shoulder, and of course he can reach out, and she's noticing like, oh shit. And then he attacks her, grabs her by the leg, attacks her leg and stuff like that. So she's in trouble and stuff. He's enjoying this too. Like, we already knew he was a terrible piece of shit, but now he's enjoying it. He's like, oh, I'm not going to kill you slow. I'm going to kill you slowly. Like, I'm going to carve you up into pieces, but I'm going to make sure you feel it. I think 5 strikes until I've bloodied you up enough before you die. And she's just ready to go. So we see, you know, Silverax, Shiki, Whitebeard all trying to get there. They're all infighting. Roger clashing with Whitebeard. I mean, funnily enough, I know, once again, comedic effect, people are going to take it seriously in the same way that Jinbei was like, conquers hockey from Nami. The Whitebeard running away from Garp was literally explained in the page, of being like, if we tangle with him right now, nothing's going to get accomplished. You know, this is going to take way too long. It's probably going to be a draw at the best, and even so, no treasure, no Shocky. We're on a time crunch here. Let's go. So Whitebeard was more of a tactical retreat than anything else. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that. While he didn't have a choice here, Roger's coming straight at him. So it's like boom. So because I've already seen that comparison online, people are like, Whitebeard ran away. It's like, well, yes, but no. You know what I mean? Like, he's clashing with Roger, not with Garp. It's like, you know, he didn't really have a choice in this particular situation, right? So, either way, the big Conquers Hockey clash pushes a bunch of people away because it's Whitebeard and Roger and stuff. And they're all just like, well, we're going to go save Shocky and shit. Now, Roger's like, listen, I'm tied up and it's your fucking job anyway, first mate. Dark King, go. And boom, Summers thinks he's talking shit. Summers thinks he's got something here. And as I said, he's like, I'm going to cut you up into pieces, blah, blah, blah. And then, all of a sudden, the Dark, this is how he got his name, because he showed up. He showed up and he said, no, the darkness I'm about to put you in isn't going to be anything. He shows up and he realizes, because he's frozen. He's sweating bullets. He can feel the ominous presence of one sword style, because that's all Rayleigh fucking needs. Rayleigh, one hand, one sword. That's all he goddamn needs, because he's like, named attack. Fuck you. That's my wife. That's my Bulma. Fuck you. Boom. Multiple buildings. That man went through. That man ain't regen from shit. That man's going to be lying on the ground going, Can I please fight Scabra Gabon, please? Because this dude's fucking scary. You know, like, this man is willing to go and fight the third strongest on the Roger crew because the second strongest is too goddamn frightening. Let's go. Let's go. Now, yeah, that's context, but he just shows up and he says, sorry I took so long, but I'm here now to come claim you. And I love that the different translations say, I've come to save you, or I've come to get you, or I've come to whatever. I like but I'm here now, I've come to claim you. Because her note in the original translation used the kanji, I believe, for claim. Like, come and make me yours, or come and claim me as yours. So this is similar to, it sounds such as bullshit. It's romantic, okay? Because she sent a note saying, come and claim me as yours. So I like the translation that the note said, come claim me as yours. And he said, sorry I took so long, but I've come to claim you now. That's sweet. That's romantic because he's using her words to say, let's get married. Let's get together. I'm not going to leave you. You know, come with me. Come with me if you want to live. Arnold Schwarzenegger style. I'm good with it, you know. All the translations work, but I like the play on words that he repeats her note back to her, and none of the other ones do that. Because saying, I've come to save you, doesn't work because the note didn't say save. Come and save me. No. It said, come and either get me or come... The translation that says get me, and then here saying, I've come to get you, that works too, but I think claim, like, the level of, like, commitment to that, because it's not used in the context of ownership. It's used more in the sense of, I want it, like, it's a life commitment. It's a commitment. It's a lifelong, it's a marriage proposal, if you want to look at it in the straightest of terms. So the claiming is like, you and I are going to be like this, you know? So I kind of like that terminology better. I know it can come off a little sleazy, but if you read it with more than a first grader's knowledge of the word, it just works for me. It worked better. Anyways, finally, Rayleigh's there, gets Shockey, and Shockey finally breaks down, which once again, at first I was a little like, oh, but then I'm like, she's been kidnapped for, as far as we know, 12 months. She's been, for what we understand, it's been a whole year since Shockey, or better part of a year at the very least, that Shockey's been kidnapped. That she's been under their thumb. We can assume that she was untouched because of, everyone trying to win her as a prize, and especially Garland trying to win her as a wife. You think he would let all the fat, like the Charloses of the world, have their way with Shockey and be like, oh yeah, I want the, one that's been passed around like the town bicycle. Yeah, no. So I assume that she, while not treated well, wasn't treated as horribly as we can infer from other slaves of the Celestial Dragons and such. But still, she finally breaks down and just says, like, Rayleigh, you're late. And it's like, yeah, you are late. You know what I mean? And she breaks down, but I was like, and she finally, because it's Rayleigh, she doesn't need to put off. She put up this beautiful, strong-willed facade in front of even certain deaths, Summers, and all this stuff. But in front of Rayleigh, she can finally break down and just be like, I was so terrified. I was so scared. Like, you took too long to come save me. Like, this is all, like, you should have came to save me long before this. And to be fair, she's not wrong. Because had he taken her on the Oro Jackson, she never would have been kidnapped. Because the only reason she was kidnapped is because of the way the Rock's crew operates. Even though they all loved her, all it took was a fat paycheck, but none of the Roger crew could have sold that out. She would have been safe with Rayleigh. She wasn't safe with the Rock's crew. And she immediately, if Rayleigh said, listen, I'm not done pirating, but if you want to come with, you can, she immediately would have followed him. So in a roundabout type of way, it is Rayleigh's fault. So he was like, I'm so scared. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm sorry you had to go all through this. There's a translation that says, this is my, I'm sorry, this is my fault. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm like, yes, Rayleigh, it actually is your fault. And you know it. You know that if you had just gone and gotten her at any time, she would have been safe. She would not have had to go through this if not for you. You were, kind of lazy about it. And it's like, it's sort of on you. Now, we ended on a funny note. We ended on a funny note because Scopper and Roger are just like, because they're having this lovey-dovey moment. And it's beautiful. And Oda himself has said, I can't write good romance, so I don't try. Fair enough, but I think he did the scene very well. He can do these small scenes of romance really well. And I really like the scene. But Roger and Scopper are just like, oh, would you guys move on and just, like, we're in the middle of a war here, all right? Save it for later, you goddamn bastard. Because, of course, they both want Shocky for themselves. And it's just like, oh, all right. And they're both like, goddamn, our hearts are breaking here, man. The same way that Sanji reacts when Zoro gets the girl. It's just like, goddamn you, mosshead. You know what I mean? So, same idea. And they're like, we've got Shocky. Let's grab the treasure that we can and get the hell out of Dodge. Now, I would think that this would almost be the end of the God Valley flashback. However, it's still haven't had how did Shanks get in the treasure chest. We still don't have Kuma saving a bunch of people. We still don't have, Ivanka getting away. We still don't have how Dragon managed to get away from this. Did he confront, Garp? And the big thing, Rox apparently died here. And Blackbeard got away, but not with Whitebeard, because Whitebeard found him later as a small child. So, somehow, we still need to see Teach get off the island, Garp and Roger facing down Rox and supposedly killing him, and getting Shocky off, getting Shanks into a treasure chest, and on the Oro Jackson. There's a lot still to go down as far as God Valley is concerned, and I'm here for every bit of it, but all I'm going to say right here at the end, I love this chapter. This chapter was fucking fire, because it had everything that I like in a chapter. It had action, it showcases the old gen, it showcases my boys, pulling up all the stops, it's got a little bit of romance, which once again, I think romance only enhances a story, it never takes away from it, and I will die on that goddamn hill. One of these days I probably will die on the hill. That'd be interesting, Like, everyone always says the saying, like, I will die on this hill. Has anybody actually ever, like, climbed up the hill and then just heart attack and be like, oh, ironic? I'm sure people have, but, where that saying comes from. Anyways, yeah, alright, I've run out of things to say about the chapter, obviously, but yeah, so chapter 1161, very good chapter, loved every bit of it, just sorry that the review is going to be, half a week late. I'm getting this out as quick as I can, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back here for the latest chapter, chapter 1162 of One Piece. As always, looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too, and have a good one, everyone. Sayonara.